Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Helsinki for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou and today we're going to be watching the round 4 match between Augur, who's playing black-red Villainy, and Chumbeque, who's playing white-red double Strike-Fect. So Chumbeque's deck is aiming to turbo out turn 3 or turn 4 kills using a 1-mana double striker plus powerful pump spells and auras. Meanwhile, Augur's deck is a control/tempo deck, which uses Villainy, one of the format's best rewards or like build-arounds, in order to play a bunch of cheap black non-creature spells, shoot face creatures and walkers, gain a bunch of life, and eventually win off of the immense tempo and card advantage gain. So turn 1 opened up with Augur playing a Duress and taking this False Shimmer, but Chumbeque still has a White Petal Ronin. Chumbeque has a White Petal Ronin no more. It's getting Strike from the Shadows. And unless Chumbeque top decks another creature now, is super behind. And this is the problem with Chumbeque's deck. It's incredibly fast, but it's super fragile to interaction, especially game 1. Before Augur makes their third land drop, is going to play an Honorless Offering for 2, essentially just playing a Sign in Blood. And I think this is another reason... Oh, and Augur doesn't hit a third land drop. That is kind of concerning. I guess kept a hand with a good interaction. But yeah, I think one thing about Chumbeque's deck that makes it harder to fight back against controlling decks is you don't really have a way to punish them for tapping out, at least in the main, because none of your auras give haste, none of your creatures naturally have haste, so it's a problem. But Augur seems to have hit the third land drop off the top, and is going to play Villainy, the titular card right here. So yeah, now basically every one of Augur's spells is enough to kill one of Chumbeque's creatures. So like Chumbeque's deck wins fast or loses fast, and I think at this point it is cleanly lost. Like Chumbeque's out is maybe like play a creature and then immediately suit it up so that it's bigger than can be killed by a single or even 2 Villainy triggers. But god, double Villainy from Augur. Yeah, now, no matter how many auras Chumbeque has, even if Chumbeque has like Balance Blade into Ethereal Armor, which we know Chumbeque has double Ethereal Armor, Augur having 2 black non-creature spells kills it. Also, Augur is just drawing into more cards, so it could just have like natural removal. Okay, and then it's going to play out a Performer of Desire and pass. This is one of the powerful tempo creatures that Augur has, because it flips into a 4/4 Flying Haste Indestructible after you double pump it, and Augur does have the second red land to double pump it next turn. And yet Chumbeque is just drawing and passing, just doesn't have the second creature, it looks like. Okay, so we're going to swing it with Performer of Desire and pump it for 2. So it's going to flip. And if Augur pumps all of the mana that's produced by the Transform trigger into the Performer of Desire, is going to be swinging for a whopping 8. No, okay, it looks like Augur is just going to be keeping up the mana. And then is going to be swinging in with, just playing a Jara Champion and then passing. Jara Champion is not super great when you already have another amazing creature, but it can suffice as a blocker. But yeah, now with this saved up mana from Pyrus, I don't think that Chumbeque can survive, because I don't think that Chumbeque has any removal either. So Augur just swings in with Pyrus, pumps it up to 11, and kills Chumbeque. Oh, but Augur didn't pump the Pyrus further. Interesting. But yeah, okay, and then it's going to Honorless Offering, double Villainy trigger to face. That kills Chumbeque anyways. So we're going to game 2. And yeah, I don't know that Chumbeque has much that can help him, but let's look at the sideboarding anyways. So I think from Augur's side, probably brings in one more Memento Mori. I'd also personally bring in a Seal the Tomb, just because Seal the Tomb on a creature just makes it, that's already been killed, makes it so much harder for Chumbeque to recover. I don't think anything else from Augur's side is particularly useful in this matchup, so I just think Memento Mori, Seal the Tomb in, probably out 2 Duress is my call. Meanwhile, for Chumbeque, I don't think any of these cards are particularly great, other than maybe Ring of Souls and Nomadic Journey. Nomadic Journey is a pseudo-flash creature that can also generate you another creature by exiling it from grave, and Ring of Souls for the hexproof. But once again, hexproof is kind of not super useful when your opponent has edicts. Okay, getting into game 2, Chumbeque has the turn 1 Balanced Blade. Augur, I don't know that Augur has Exins, so might have trouble answering this turn 1. Okay, it's going to have a Jar Champion that can at least chump block, but if Chumbeque has like the Menace Aura or the Trample Aura, this could get real sticky. Can't kill Augur this turn, so it does still give Augur a window to have like Memento Mori, Strike from the Shadows, but yeah. Okay, so Chumbeque is going to play a False Shimmer onto the Balanced Blade and then swing in for 6. Notably though, it seems like Chumbeque did mull down to 5, so if Augur has the removal here, it's going to be really hard. And that's a double black. Yeah, the Memento Mori. And now Chumbeque's down to 2 cards in hand. Augur swinging in for 3 with this already souped up Jar Champion. Oh, but does have a second creature. Signs of Life. Has a third creature. Oh man. This could actually bode well for Chumbeque, especially since Balanced Blade has the natural pump. Gonna Dark Bargain in. Augur has already double shocked themselves in the face, so that might make it easier for Chumbeque to go the distance. But also notably, pinging herself does pump up the Jar Champion. And Stolen Secrets from Augur. I guess it's just gonna try and grab an enchantment real quick. Oh, but the last card in Chumbeque's hand is a protection spell, Unbreachable Walls, for one of Chumbeque's creatures. Stolen Secrets is gonna miss there, but this Jara Champion won't. Swinging in for 4. Chumbeque is not gonna double block that because Chumbeque's entire game plan revolves around keeping his creatures. Also, I don't think it would have been the worst idea in the world to keep up Jara Champion as a blocker, but I guess Augur's thought is, hey, instead of giving Chumbeque time to draw into good cards, let me just swing for the fences, and then if Chumbeque doesn't draw into something good, so much the better for me. But yeah, Chumbeque is going to swing in with Balanced Blade, use its natural pump ability to swing for 2, and then on end is going to crack the Dark Bargain and then draw another card. Jar Champion is a 5/5, which means that everything going as it is now, Chumbeque should basically be on a 2-turn clock. Takes 5 from the Jar Champion here, so then Jar Champion pumps up into a 6, and then oh no, yeah, okay, it has a Wayfarer Shrine, so Jar Champion is pumping into his 6 here, so we'll swing for 6 this turn, swings for 7 next turn if Chumbeque swings in. So unless Chumbeque kills Augur next turn, Augur wins. But with Augur at 6 life, it's eminently possible for Chumbeque to do so. Ooh, but Augur with the Villainy, but doesn't have anything to trigger it. That life gain would have been super useful now. And Chumbeque, depending on the top decks, could snatch this. Okay, swinging in with both. And before damage, Chumbeque has the tear through. That is lethal damage. So we're going to a game 3, and yeah, Chumbeque really grabbed that victory from the jaws of defeat. Like a mull to 5, had their only creature destroyed, but then Augur, it seems like, didn't have the other pieces of removal and just was 1 turn off on the clock. I wonder if Augur will bring in like ignition rituals or something for situations like that. Just because it's also fine as single target removal as well. So I could see Augur doing that just out of like dealing with the situation where double creatures is annoying, especially with edict-based removal. Notably is also that Ignition Ritual gets around Unbreachable Walls, which is Chumbeque's primary mode of deflecting interaction. Okay, Augur is going to run a turn 1 Dark Bargain. It's already shocked herself. This might be confidence once again because Augur has the first piece of removal though. And Chumbeque doesn't have a turn 1 creature. That is definitely a problem. Must have a stacked hand, or is has an Unbreachable Walls and is waiting to play creature plus Unbreachable Walls, because Chumbeque knows that if he runs out a creature right now, Augur could just go Strike from Shadows. Oh no, actually has the sideboard Nomadic Journey. So he's gonna, on Augur's end, play out this, get a white Nomad. Okay, and then Chumbeque gonna run out an Impish Delights on the Nomad. Of course, the Nomad does not have Double Strike. Chumbeque's clock is gonna be quite a bit shorter, or quite a bit longer. But does get to cantrip off the Impish Delights and swings in for 3. But in response, yeah, Augur once more has the Memento Mori. Notably though, next turn Chumbeque can just exile Nomadic Journey and get another Nomad. The Nomadic Journey is also really good as protection versus Edict removal, because in response Chumbeque can just create a Nomad token to save a double striker. Ooh, but Augur has the Villainy, and early Villainy means that this is going to be an uphill battle for Chumbeque. But oh wow, Chumbeque brought in the Priest of Persecution? That is really interesting to me. I guess it does turn off like lots of Augur's spells, but like it turns off half of Chumbeque's deck as well. Like I was surprised to see this in the sideboard at all. I'm surprised to see Chumbeque playing it, but if it works, I guess. But no, Augur has a 2-mana removal spell, so yeah, and then gets to poke 2 to face with Villainy, then also draws off of Villainy. And then is going to run out Stolen Secrets now that the Priest of Persecution is gone. Naming creature? Yep. But nope, just double tear through plus an Unbreachable Walls for Chumbeque. Okay, and then Chumbeque just passing is probably waiting to a Nomadic Journey on end. Or Chumbeque might just wait until he gets... Chumbeque can't wait for a double striker. Because Villainy makes it so that Augur just has all the answers. Okay, so Augur gonna run Jara Champion into Dark Bargain, poking Chumbeque for 2 in the face. Oh man, and Dark Bargain number 3 for Augur. And yeah, when your cantrip comes with a mini Lightning Helix attached, it's pretty damn good. Okay, on end, Chumbeque's gonna exile Nomadic Journey from grave, make a Nomad. Gonna swing in. Given known information, if you're Augur, I think you just take this, because it's gonna be a maximum of 7 damage. Yeah. Okay, so tear through number 1, tear through number 2. So Augur does take a whopping 7, but if Augur has any black non-creature spells next turn, just Windmill slams it, Villainy gains back 2 life, can shoot the white Nomad, and in addition, Chumbeque can't even use Unbreachable Walls in response, because Unbreachable Walls only counters spells, so it won't be able to counter the Villainy trigger. And also this Jara Champion is just going to kill Chumbeque in 3 turns. Or well, actually, could be 2. Actually, yeah, it can be 2 turns. If Augur cracks a Dark Bargain now, swings in for 4, and then swings for 5 next turn. So Chumbeque is actually on a 2-turn clock. Okay, so Augur running out second Jara Champion into Honorless Offering, X equals 1, and then is going to shoot the Nomad. Augur gains 2 life, but immediately loses 2 life to Villainy plus Honorless Offering. This does buff up the first Jara Champion into a 4/4 though. So yeah, unless Chumbeque has like a second Nomadic Journey in hand, I think this is going to be hard. Oh, but Augur has the Duress. And I think if you're Chumbeque, you probably would have just run out the Nomadic Journey in response to the Duress. So yeah, it doesn't have it. Double Unbreachable Walls, Blessing of Valor. Don't think there's any getting out of this for Chumbeque now. Okay, grabs Blessing of Valor with the Duress. And then swings in for 4 with Jara Champ. And yeah, I don't think Chumbeque has any outs here, because it doesn't have Face Burn, doesn't have any hasty creatures. And yep, that's a game. So good games to both players, but Augur takes it 2-1 on Black-Red Villainy. And that does mean, actually, that Augur with a 3-1 set record has made the cut to top X for this tournament, getting out of the Swiss portion. So congrats to them. And also congrats to Chumbeque for piloting, I think piloting a linear deck that's weak to interaction is super difficult in an open sideboarding environment. But Chumbeque still managed to pilot it to a 2-2 finish, which I think is really impressive. And I think that's also due to some really tight play from Chumbeque in the sets that he did win. So despite not making the cut, I think Chumbeque has done himself proud, and I hope to see this deck and Chumbeque in future tournaments. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou signing off.